Ask yourself this one question. Would you and your dog be able to fight off a ferocious pack of coyotes? I'm about to tell you a true story of a hero dog that did just that for his best friend. Hey, I'm Rocky Kanaka, and this is Animal Tales. You might have heard me say before that often when you're rescuing a dog, it turns out they're actually rescuing you. In this case, Sako, Joseph's dog, did actually rescue him. He saved his life. This all happened in Canada at Kanaka Bar. Now, Joseph, he's camping with his family. They're actually fishing, and it's getting towards the end of the day, and they decide, okay, let's pack up, let's start heading back. Joseph, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a fun-loving kid. He loves his family and he loves his dog. That is absolutely his best friend. They jump in the back of the truck. It's been a long day, they're driving home. It's cooling off a little bit, but man, the sun feels good. And Joseph in an interview even said the sun was hitting him and he started to fall asleep. And the next thing you know is probably a lot of people's worst nightmare. He wakes up to going off the road and then complete blackout. It's kind of a slow daze. He doesn't know what happened, but he knows he can't move. He's not paralyzed, but something's wrong. He's fighting to try to figure out what that is, but he just can't get the fogginess out of his eyes. But one thing he does is he tries to start checking his surroundings. He can move his head a little bit. And the comforting thing that happens right away is he sees Sako right there next to him. I imagine that's about all he can muster, and then he slips back out of consciousness. He is, at this point, going into shock, and he doesn't know this. What he doesn't realize is his collarbone is broken, his femur is broken. There's so many things wrong with his body that would make sense because the truck had actually gone off the road, gone down a steep ravine, thrown Joseph and Sako out of the back of the truck, and everyone in the truck, they didn't make it. Joseph comes to again. Every time it's just a little bit more clear. And now it's getting dark and he thinks it's getting cold, but he's going into shock. And so his body is actually getting cold. And he said he even tried to grab some rocks to put them on him, almost, I guess maybe as a blanket, but I don't know if you've ever had any rocks, but they will not act as a blanket. Passes out again, wakes up again, but even colder. And now he's waking up from violently shaking. Joseph even said he was able to reach down and feel his leg, and he could actually feel the bone. And he basically gave up. Now, Sako, when he was thrown out of the truck, I'll bet he landed okay. Maybe he was able to roll. He is unharmed at this point. Now, what happens next is one of the most unbelievable things of this story. Because when Sako sees Joseph wake up from the violent shaking of the cold, he knows exactly what to do. Sako jumped on top of Joseph as a blanket. Now, Sako, he is a King Shepherd. Now, King Shepherds, they are a lot like German Shepherds. In fact, most people would see a King Shepherd and just think, oh, this is a German Shepherd. But here's why a King Shepherd is so important, especially in colder territories like Canada and Alaska and some of these wilderness territories, because they can have in their lineage Alaskan Malamute, Great Pyrenees, these big dogs that are good at staying warm in cold areas. They're good at roaming. They're working dogs. They make great police dogs. They aim to please, and they're highly trainable. And why that's just so amazing is Sako doesn't know that Joseph's bone is broken, but what he can sense is that something is off. He can smell the chemical imbalance. He can sense the shivering. Joseph is a part of his pack. It's a part of his family, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect him. Just that extra little hope of, you know what? It's gonna be okay. So he falls asleep, probably thinking the next time he'll wake up is when the sun comes up. But that's not what happened. He actually wakes up to the sound of bushes rustling. What is in the bushes? Maybe it's a bunny rabbit, but probably not. There's probably more stuff out there trying to get you than not. And even if Joseph is good in the wilderness, he has no ability to get up and fight back or run away. But guess what he does have? His best friend, and Sako's already on it. He smells it, he sees it, he knows what to do, and he immediately jumps into action. He bounds into the bushes. Joseph has no idea what's going on. There's rustling in the bushes, and then everything goes silent. Finally, Sako comes back. And Joseph said that the only thing Sako had was a bite on him. Only Sako was probably in a massive fight with multiple coyotes. Coyotes love to gang up on dogs. They try to confuse them. But Sako is big, and I'll bet he fought off all those coyotes and only came back with one bite. It's the next morning, the sun is rising, Sako is still there. It doesn't seem like the bite is anything too harmful. He's gonna be just fine. And now Joseph is just hoping that someone will rescue him. The concern is he's all the way down in a ravine. I mean, it's 20 plus feet down in the ravine, and he can't get up to go to the road. So even if he hears a car passing by, how does he get their attention? At this point, he sees the sun kind of passing over him, and he doesn't know what time it is exactly, but he knows the day is passing by and no one is coming to save him. Another day goes by. And another day goes by. 3 days have gone by now, and at this point, he doesn't think he's gonna make it. Just in time, he hears his cousin yelling out for him, and he yells back, and they find him and they rescue him. And Sako's so excited, and Joseph is obviously excited and exhausted. The most amazing thing, though, is Sako saved him. I'm a pet expert, and I have personally been saved by a dog in my life. And if you're out in the wild, my tip is to pay attention to your dog. Really pay attention to what they're doing, because it's just within their nature to survive, and they can help guide you. And if you really let them lead the way, they can save your life. Here's what happened when a brave dog swimming through a flood did when he saw an autistic boy clinging to a pole. Waverly, Tennessee experienced historic flooding on August 21st, 2021. The area was suddenly hit with a massive 17 inches of rain in no time at all. For comparison's sake, here's what 6 inches of rain looks like. Now imagine almost 3 times as much water. 17 inches of rain means there would be areas of water that are collecting in pools where it would be over my head, and I'm 6'4" It was so bad that 20 people didn't make it. 250 plus homes were completely destroyed, countless businesses. It was total mayhem. And unfortunately, while this was going on, there was one little boy. He was young, so to protect him, let's call him Grayson for this story. Grayson was separated from his family. What's particularly bad about that is Grayson is autistic. And so communication is even harder for him, especially in this extreme situation. Now, it's unclear what happened next, and I'm gonna fill in some of the gaps with what I think happened after researching this story. But we know that Grayson got swept into the creek, whether he fell in there or got swept into there, and the water quickly and violently rushed him down the stream. Wherever the water was trying to make its way, he likely was bumping into things, trying to keep his head above the water. Finally, Grayson was able to latch onto a pole, and this poor little boy, with all of his might, was doing everything he could to hold onto this pole. But if you've ever been in any amount of water turbulence or pressure, it's really strong, especially because the water keeps rising. So as the water's rising, he's having to completely release his grip, readjust, and that's just spells disaster for water being able to sweep you away again. All kinds of bad things can happen, right? If a power line goes down, it can put electricity in the water, because at this point, entire cars are even being lifted up and being floated down this river like they're toy boats. Now, completely separate story. I'm gonna bring these two together here in a minute, but a couple blocks away, half mile away, there is a family that has a Great Pyrenees Labrador mix. This dog's name is Cooper. Now, I specifically mentioned his breed type because this is really gonna come into play. If you don't know anything about Great Pyrenees, they are one of the most majestic breeds of dogs. And if there was a ranking system for them, they would get 4 paws up for being the protectors of families, of farms, of other animals. That's what they do, they protect. They've been around for so long. Fun fact, they're actually fossils that date all the way back to sometime between 1800 BC and 1000 BC. At the time, they were considered a peasant's dog because they guarded the livestock. But because these dogs were just so amazing and so magnificent, they became really popular with French royals in the Renaissance time period. In fact, in 1675, King Louis, I think the 14th, declared the Great Pyrenees dog the dog of royalty. I tell you all that because 1, it's just fun facts, but 2, it's gonna really come into play. That is half of who Cooper is. The other half is a Labrador mix of something. So Cooper was staying with some family, and a tree fell on their house and he was immediately separated. He was swept out into this flash flood river that was moving rapidly. If you put yourself in the mind of Cooper, he's a 6-year-old dog, and all of a sudden, he has been separated from his family. He's never been in a flood. He doesn't know what's going on, and he's just swimming now. He's just fighting for his life. And what happened next is so amazing, and it's why dogs should just be protected at all costs, and they are so awesome, because he sees Grayson, and immediately he must have made the decision that, you know what, this is why I'm here. And the fact that he's also half Labrador makes him an amazing swimmer. What's he do? He swims over to Grayson. He gets Grayson to hold on to him, and he keeps swimming, trying to get to safety. Thank goodness some boaters saw him. They get over there, and he swims to them, and they were able to save Grayson and Cooper. Now, the flood started to subside. Grayson was reunited with his family, but nobody knows who Cooper's family is. They have no way to identify him. I think maybe he didn't have a microchip or a collar on. And he was taken to the Waverly Animal Clinic, where they wanted to check him out, make sure he was okay. He was a hero, but they wanted to give him the hero treatment for sure. And so the Waverly Animal Clinic, they said, you know what, let's put this on Facebook, let's put this story on Facebook and ask people to share it. It got back to his family, and they were able to reunite. Simple fact, dogs rule. They really do. But it's really neat to see how fast they can overcome incredible adversity. What is more amazing than a service dog? I'll tell you, I would be hard pressed to figure out something that is better than a service dog. This next story that I'm going to tell you about is about a dog that saved their owner's life by calling 911, dialing 911. It started in Philadelphia with Maria Colon and her dog Yolanda. Maria is blind. Maria likely wouldn't be able to function through her day-to-day activities without Yolanda. They are best friends. So Yolanda is a Golden Lab. Now, Golden Labs are America's dog. Like, it is countless times the #1 dog breed in America. When you ask people, what kind of dog do you want? They want a Golden Lab. There are reasons for that are very understandable. Golden Labs are energetic, they're puppy-like. They can work through the entire day, where like an American Bulldog would probably run out of energy by 10:15 a.m. I know, because I'm currently fostering one, and all he does all day is sleep. Not the case with Golden Labradors. But what happened this night was particularly scary. You have Maria, she's asleep in her bed. Yolanda is right there by her. And Maria wakes up to the smell of smoke. This is really bad if you're blind, because you can't really smell where smoke is coming from. And I could imagine it would be really scary, because you can't go explore to find that fire. What you've got to do is try to get out, but you don't know if the fire is in the way. You are now 100% reliant on your service dog, if you have one. Let's get into the mind of Yolanda, the dog, the service dog. She wakes up, she smells the smoke way before Maria does. And she knows now this is her time to jump into action and do what she is here to do, and that is to help her mom. They have a command that they've worked on, that they've rehearsed time and time again, because this is the command that will save your life. At this point, the smoke was so bad, Maria was struggling to breathe. But then clarity comes over Maria, and she knows it's time to shout the command that they have practiced again and again. She says, "Danger!" And immediately Yolanda jumps into action.
Yolanda, press the emergency call button on Colon's phone.
I hear the phone tick, 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 and she growled it. And I said, oh my Lord, she called the police.
She's worried about her life, and she's in amazement that her dog is calling the police. But I couldn't blame her. I would be the same way. If my dog Flip started dialing the phone and called the police because I was in trouble, no matter what pain I was in or what I was going through, I would probably go, "Flip, good boy, Flip." But it still took time for the firefighters to get there, and it was turning into a really bad situation. The good news is the firefighters got there in time. The situation was so bad that they can't go back to their home. They have no home now. They went to the hospital, and Maria was pretty good. She got a small treatment. Yolanda spent the night at the vet hospital because she had a little damage to her cornea and had to be treated for smoke inhalation to make sure she was okay. But guess what? They both got out. They had nowhere to go. The neat thing is the Red Cross helped, but so did the Red Paw. And so they both got the help that they needed. And when they reunited, Maria was just so happy to see Yolanda. She calls her little baby. She's her mama. And you can just tell there's such a neat love, a neat bond between those two. Again, as a pet expert, train your dog. It could save your life. Yolanda knew how to dial the phone. It's a special little phone. It's a little different. It's made so that animals, dogs, service dogs can actually dial it. It's not like an iPhone where Face ID has to work. Nonetheless, it's still unbelievable. And I would like to say Yolanda is a hero. If you agree, share this, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications, and comment down below. Would your dog save you? Have you ever heard of a dog doing something like this? Are there other stories that I should be telling? Let me know about them.